Okay guys, it's Pete Howard here, one of the tutors at Performance Training Academy. Here we have a dynamic mobility sequence we can use as part of an integrated dynamic warm-up. I'm just going to give you guys, you can use as little of these as you want in order to construct your own mobility programs and regimes for warm-up. So here we're starting, as you can see, with a downward dog position. And then we're using flexion and extension through the ankles and knees to what we call walk the dog. All right, so you're trying to keep the hips nice and high, as you can see Lucy on the left. She's doing that downward dog position with high hips. And I'm just correcting Will there, allowing him to get a little bit more tension through his posterior chain just by pulling those hips back. Okay, so second up, core tight, chest up, shoulders back, working through a squat movement pattern. Good to just warm up with these compound movements just to ease in the joints, improve the synovial fluid. Low knee position for decent range and more glute activation, and keeping that chest up, core tight, taking on Will there. All right, so we're moving into a lunge movement here. So these are very good to be doing if people have tight hips in general. Things like your leg press and your squat movements are done with closed hips, but these open the hips. I would say this was done last year now. My preferred go-to is really the reverse lunge, especially if people are suffering from knee pain. But either variant is great. We're grounding that front heel, not letting the knee go over the toes like was downwing back there. Driving off through that front heel to get that glute to heel power transfer whilst maintaining good posture and joint alignment. Okay, so again, if people are suffering from knee pain, I feel that going backwards into a lunge off the front foot is slightly less aggravating and kinder on the knees. So we're working up now towards the hips and working on some movement through the transverse plane and rotational mobility. This is called the crucifix, hence the arms out, shoulders flat on the floor, just trying to create some hip shoulder separation. You'll find with pinning Will down, we find with this movement that if we are breathing out when we move, we decrease tension through the torso, and that enables us just to get a little bit more ease through the range and just helps us kind of relax into that movement. So when you're coaching this, ensure that you're with everything, that you're getting people to get in connection with their breaths and moving and breathing at the right time, because it can really help improve movement. Okay, so we're going to go from the supine to prone position. Prone position is obviously chest down. This is the inverted crucifix, or what we know informally as the scorpion. That effect of the heel coming over, trying to reach to the opposite hand, keeping the opposite shoulder on the ground here. Again, this is really nice way to mobilize the lower backs, the hips, the glutes. Really beneficial to get people moving. Rotational mobility is often overlooked. So from here, we're going to a quadruped position, which quad means obviously all fours. And we are then completing some fire hydrants, which is rotating the knee. Imagine that you're drawing a circle, essentially, backwards and forwards, both ways. Rewinding it now. Just to improve our rotational hip mobility, we're working through our glutes, TFL, glute med, we're opening up through our adductors, whilst maintaining some core stability, trying to keep those hips nice and level. So it just gets us used to moving through our lower body and stabilizing through our core at the same time, which is obviously useful for any athlete. All these sort of 10 to 12, 15 reps or I'd say probably 5 on each side, being 10 reps would be a good number to go each way. So this is our V-sit into pike movement. You need to breathe out and tuck your chin to your chest as you come over to this movement, and another out breath as you reach forward. So yeah, really kind of sync the movement, ease your chin down to your chest and let your legs flick back over. It's a really good global posterior mobility movement to be practicing in your warm-up. You're going to get a stretch through hamstrings and your lower back, and then through adductors as you reach through. And you just gradually look to work up to your max active range through this. And obviously, ease it in rep by rep. Don't look to force any of this. The idea of a warm-up is progressive, dynamic, so you can add in these movements and increase the range as you or your client becomes warmer. So we're looking into some thoracic rotation now, bringing the elbow in and rotating out, trying to keep the hips as square as you can again here. This is going to help open up the mid-back. And again, this is quite a useful thing, even if people are doing movements such as heavy pulls and presses. What kind of happens through that is that all the muscles around the rectus spinae group, multifidus, tighten up through our lower back. So it's good to add in that rotation to combat the stiffness from whether we're doing heavy pulls or presses. And again, it's going to improve our athletic capacity to be able to rotate better as well. Next up, full global mobilization of the spinal column here, working through extension and flexion, thinking chin up, chin down. As we bring a chin up, we're doing an anterior pelvic tilt, and then we're tilting the other way in unison and getting a good stretch between our shoulder blades and mid-back here, helping to open up the vertebrae and improve our movement. Really nice one to use as part of a warm-up. So this is working up into cobra position here with belly button to the ground, chest and shoulders nice and high, working back into a downward dog. Pushing that work into extension through lower back, taking a couple of deep breaths, pushing up into lower back, into downward dog, mobilizing through our hamstrings, through posterior end stretches. So now, again, working a transition, if you like, between those positions. This is the Hindu push-up. So we're coming from that down dog position. We're scooping chest along the ground, not releasing the tension. I find this is a good warm-up for the shoulders and triceps as well as working your spine through flexion and extension and feeling a stretch through the posterior chain at the top of the downward dog. Another really useful movement to be doing to warm the hips and shoulders up at the same time. Why some of these and the crucifixes in particular are good because they hit the hips and shoulders at the same time. And obviously we want to get as much of the body moving as possible, which is brilliant. So we've got basic shoulder circumductions, keeping the circles nice and large and just working the range around the shoulder capsule here, thinking biceps to ears. We bring it back through, maintaining good posture throughout these exercises. And that's it. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope that's useful. Again, add them in as much and as little as you want, but hopefully there's some inspiration for people to follow.